mọ̀sà òjìyàn lọ́bẹ̀. Àjànàkú kọjá mo rí nǹkan fìrí tá a bá rẹ́rìn ká sọ pé arẹ́rìn. Solocard Multiventures Limited ilé ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ ni mò ń sọ níbi káta ojúlówó kẹ́míkà àti fataláísà tí kìí ṣe yèèpẹ̀. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi sọnù kí owó bá sọnù.
Ìwé kíkọ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilé wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè. Ìwé kíkọ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilé wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè.
Ẹ kú dédé wòyí, orúkọ tèmi ni Mark Olúwafẹ́mi. As our usual practice, àti ti délé ní láti mú wá sétí gbọ́yìn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bá ti máa ṣe ní Solocard Multiventures Limited. Bí ó ṣe jẹ́, bí ọ̀rọ̀ oko ṣe ń lọ, bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe ń lọ lórí oko, bá a ṣe ń ṣe lọ́tún lósì tó fi ń lọ́jọ́ tá a fi ń rí èrè lórí ẹ̀, òun lè tó yìí wà fún. Àyìn èèyàn wa tẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa nílé lẹ́yìn odi, àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa káàkiri Nàìjíríà àti ní ìta Nàìjíríà, a mọ̀ pé ní ọ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan èjèèjì àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń sọ lórí ìkànnì yìí ó ń bá yín lára mu, ó dẹ̀ ń bá oko yín lára mu. Nítorí ẹ̀ la ṣe mú wá sétí gbọ́ yín lọ́sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ lórí nǹkan tá à ń ṣe lórí oko. Báwo la ṣe lè ṣe dáadáa, tá a ṣe lè ṣe tó máa yàtọ̀ sí tàtẹ̀yìnwá lọ, òun la mú wá sétí gbọ́ yín. Màá tó sọ lédè òyìnbó torí àwọn tó wà lé ìlú òdì kejì lọ́hùn. My name is Mark Olúwafẹ́mi, and we welcome you to today's episode of Solocard TV, where we talk about agricultural practices, how you go about agricultural practices, things you do, how you do differently, how you irrigate, how you control pests, fungi, why you need to use certain things on your field, what you tend to achieve by using those things, and the likes like that. And that's what we bring to your notice every week on this episode. And like we did on our last episode, we talked about agricultural principles, understanding agricultural principles. That's what we talked about last episode. And today we will continue from where we stopped in our last episode, when we talked about how you need to do your agricultural practices. We were paraphrasing on how you can do your land preparation, which we talked about. There was a particular episode that we did on this platform that we talked about your land preparation from the beginning, how you can do it from start to finish before you start introducing the seeds into the ground. We dealt so much about your land preparation, why you need to prepare the land properly. And in our last episode, we also talked about certain operations on the field and why you need to do them. And briefly, I remember we talked about land preparation, because we realized the fact that land preparation is the key to the success of the farm. If your land is not well prepared, it might not get the adequate results. So in our last episode, we talked about land preparation. We talked about you understanding your seed population. When I mean seed population, we made a very good example about certain crops that we're talking about, the number of stands you should have on a field about certain crop. We talked about cassava. I mentioned the fact that at least on your cassava farm you should have 15,000 stands on an hectare. At the minimum you should have is about 12,500 stands on an hectare. We talked about you doing your cucumber, for instance, on an acre you should have nothing less than 13,300 stands on an acre of cucumber farm. We talked about tomato, we talked about pepper. At least you have about 10,000 stands on an acre. And we talk about their land, their planting spacing. We talk about the spacing between plant and between furrow. Then we talk about maize as well too. We talk about maize, you having maize about 50,000 minimum, 52,000 or 55,000 stands on an hectare. Where we talked about you can have about 25 cm by 75 cm for your planting spacing, and the likes like that. Yes, there are so many of these things that we farmers do not pay attention to. And that is why we realize the fact that over the times, most of the challenges farms are having today are just a result of our negligence to some of this basic information that we overlook and think they are not relevant. But in the real sense, they contribute a lot to the growth and to the yield you are expecting on your farm. And that is why we are taking time to emphasize on these things that they are very important for you to put in place to achieve these results. And that is one thing I want you to know. If you can effectively do this, you will have good results. And today, we want to talk about how do you control your farm. Like we're in the studio now and we know some persons are actually calling in just to ask us questions. But question time will come where we attend to your questions and we will answer them. Now, how do you maintain your farm? If we have dwelt so well on land preparation, we've dwelt so much on the number of stands, your planting spacing, and the likes like that. So many farms that we visited in the recent time, the complaints they were giving us or what the challenge they have on their feed was they're having problems with attacks. So now I talk about pest attack. So I talk about maybe fungi. So now I talking about rodents and some other things like that. See, we want you to understand something. As far as agriculture is concerned, the same principle that governs agriculture governs most of our day-to-day activities that we don't pay attention to. For instance, if you are living in an environment that is not clean, that you have ponded waters all around, you will have a lot of mosquitoes dwelling in that environment. Which I know you understand me. If you have a farm, let's say tomato farm for instance, and you have weeds all over the farm, then you cannot resist pest attack on your farm. But when your tomato farm is clean, you are 50% free from attack. Because these pests that are coming around will not have place to dwell in. And that is where the challenge is. But if you have a very clean farm, be it tomato, be it pepper, be it cucumber, and what have you, cabbage, lettuce, and the likes like that, you will not have pest attack. Or rather, you will not have pest invasion. There might be pest attack on the field. But at the slightest application of pesticide, a lot of them will die off and a lot of them will fly away. Because they don't have a place that is going to harbor them. But when you have weeds all over your farm, and weed is competing with your plants, the pest you're trying to kill or you're trying to attack will only go to those weeds and hide there. And after the effect of the pesticide you spray in the field neutralizes, they will come back. And that is why they can easily invade. Pest attacking your farm is different from pest invading your farm. Invasion is total destruction. Because when they invade your farm, in less than 12 hours, the farm might be ruined, destroyed. But when they attack, they can only attack from one side. Some part of the plant will be attacked, will be affected, and while you spray your pesticide, they can be controlled. But if you do not take care of this, invasion is inevitable. They will invade your farm because they've already built colony within your farm. And that is why, by the time they're attacking your farm, they can always come and attack and hide in their own colony. So it is easy for them to spread, it is easy for them to dominate. Then destroying that farm will be very much more easy for them. But if you can take care of weeds within the farm, that the weed is not competing with your plants, then you can actually control this pest. Also, most of the time, we realize this. Some of the farms we visited, some farmers are complaining, hey, there's fungal attack, the seed they bought is not, they said the seed is high, have high resistance to fungi, but they realize that there's fungal attack. So many farms that we visited, most of the things they call fungal attack is not fungal attack. If weed is competing with your plants, take it or leave it. At the point of contact of your plant with the weed, let's say the the leaves that are close to the base, once they're having contact with the weeds, they will start changing color. It's a kind of a reaction within them. There's a particular farm we visited, a cassava farm, a cassava plantation. The cassava plantation is almost about 250 something acres that was planted at that time. Now the person came and said, "Okay, fine, it needs a fungicide to control fungi in the cassava farm." I was wondering, even though fungi attack cassava, but it is rare. Okay, and I asked, can we visit the farm, or can we see the picture or video of the farm? The man said, no, he doesn't have a picture, but we need to visit the farm. So we now created time, we visited the farm. And we realized the fact that it is not a fungal attack. Weeds are competing with the cassava. And that's why the leaves are turning yellow. They have patches of brown patches on their leaves. So I told the man that, see, the thing is, it's not about we selling the chemical to you. We can sell fungicide to you because we're going to make a lot of money. Because the fungicide you're going to use to spray about 250 acres of land, it's quite much, and to fetch us a lot of money. But we are not just particular about the money we want to collect from you. We are particular about you having good results. So we told him there are two ways to this thing. Before you buy the fungicide, try and weed the farm first. Weed it. When you finish weeding it, after a week, come back and buy the fungicide. Well, finally the man agreed. He told his people to start weeding the farm, and they weeded the weeding. Just after they finished weeding, rain fell. A week after, the whole farm changed. Leafy, new leaves were coming out, extremely green. The old leaves that were being attacked because of the competition between the weeds and the cassava leaves dropped off, and the whole farm became green against what it was as at the time we visited the place. So the man called and said, thank you very much, that he doesn't think he needs to buy fungicide again. I told him, if you had sold fungicide to you then, you have bought it, you will have sprayed. But the truth of the matter is we are not just after you just buying and buying and buying. Even though we know that if you sell the fungicide to you, we will have made money from you. But that's not what you need per time. So we want you to understand something. Understand the kind of crop you are growing and what you need to put in place for these crops to actually do well. Everything is not about you buying fungicide, buying this one and buying this one. Like I said in another episode, so many persons have bought so many things that they don't need. As such, they feel agriculture is not profitable because they find out that the overhead cost is so high that they feel they are not making profit. But in the real sense, they are making profit, but the profit is going into unnecessary things which they have bought and stored, have kept in their store that they will not even use at the end of the day. Most of those things you buy and keep in your store, you end up not using them. And maybe one person, maybe one of your workers or your farm manager, whatever, just like, this thing has been here for years and our guy is not even saying anything about it. Let's just use it, or let's just sell it, or they just think that even you yourself that you bought something over 6 months ago and you didn't even remember that they did not use it, you forgotten about it, and the farm manager will just take it and go and sell. But you have a record of the amount you spend on the field, which is the most important thing that almost everybody keeps. I have spent 2.something million on this farm. What did you spend the money on? Most people might not remember what they bought, but they can remember the figure of what they spent. But the question is, has the figure gone into the plant you're planting effectively? Is the figure having any value adding to the plant? Is the figure going to command more money in the market? This is some of the things you need to understand. If you don't understand this thing, then you keep wasting the figure, which is the money you are spending. Somebody asked some days back, she wants to go into agriculture. She said she doesn't have, that she believes that agriculture, that if you want to do farming, you need to have big money because you need to buy big land. And I told her, the thing is agriculture is not about buying. It's not about you have to buy a big land or whatever. Having a small portion of land and being effectively utilized, it's much more better than having a big land and you are not utilizing the big land. Because if you are cultivating an acre of land, for instance, and you are effectively cultivating that acre of land, that acre of land can generate 4 million naira for you. And you have 10 acres of land, you are not effectively cultivating it, and you are getting 7 million naira from that 10 acre of land. Who is making profit? The person that has an acre of land and generating 4 million is making more profit than the person that's having 10 acres of land and generating 7 million. Because the 10 acre of land, inputs that goes to 10 acre of land it will be like times 3 of what is going to 1 acre of land. And when you remove what you've put into it and what you've sowed, you find out that there's no margin between them. The gap is just too wide. The gap is too wide, they cannot match each other, and you feel like the business is not profitable. That is what's happening to most farms today. So many persons have spent too much money on necessary things, and they fail to understand that they need to do it effectively. What we are actually saying is this, I will always say it. Number one, whatever you want to cultivate, ask questions about it. There are so many persons that have done this thing before. So many persons have done this thing that they make a lot of mistakes about this thing. Ask them questions about what they've done. They will tell you some of their challenges, some of the mistakes they've made, so that you don't make the same mistakes again. And that's why we are bringing up this platform, to showcase or to tell farmers some things that they can do differently. And well, Solocard Multiventures Limited is trying to bridge the gap by reaching out to farmers one way or the other. And that's why we are trying to reach out to farmers on almost all the social medias now. We are expanding our platform in such a way that we can reach out to farmers on almost all social medias. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on whatever. We can actually reach out to farmers. We can share the good news to you. Whatever we think we are saying here, to you, you might feel like, I know everything. But there's someone just behind you there that doesn't even know anything about this thing, that wants to venture into this thing. Back to the person that wants to do farming. She said she wants to start agriculture, and I told her, you need to buy a big land. A small piece of land behind your house can actually give you a kickstart for you. Why not run that one as a demo, as a test plot for you? Understand the principle and see how you can expand exponentially such that you don't waste your resources. Thank God she agreed. She obliged. And the funniest part is what she wants to do is just leafy vegetables. So she started, and I tell you, what she was generating from just a plot of land behind her house was fetching her much more money than she could ever imagine that she would get. And at that point in time, she was so contented with that one plot that she was generating revenue from that one plot every day by selling leafy vegetables. And at the time she expanded to 2 acres of land, she was able to manage it effectively and generate more money in respect to the size of land she is using. Now the point is this, and she said, if she had ventured into the 2 acres at the early stage, she would have made money because she doesn't understand how to run it. But when she did that one plot, she was able to understand how to do it, and she was able to control it because of what she's new in the business. And with that now, she was able to make more money. And while she was growing in it, she was expanding exponentially. Now what am I trying to say now? So many persons that will not want to listen to this, a piece of advice, by starting small, are actually biting their fingers or getting their fingers burnt at the end of the day. Because most of them want to start big, they want to earn it big. But the truth is this, they will always make mistake big, and they will always waste big money. And that's the challenge. There was one particular person that wanted to do a particular plantation one time ago, and the person told me, I want to do 50 acres of land, and I told the person, 50 acres of this project that you want to do, you've not done it before. You do have a cultural background. You say yes, you get a manager, the manager will supervise the project. Yes, you can. But oftentimes, when you get managers, most of these people don't know about these things. But for the fact that they needed a job, they needed a paycheck, they will tell you they know everything about it. We have so many people that are running lip services all around social media that they don't have a farm. But they will tell you they can do this, they can do this, they can do it. Yes, it is easy for me to say it. Because I can easily pick my phone, Google, and read so many things online, and come up online and start telling you, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Practical knowledge is quite different from theoretical knowledge. The truth is this, if you're talking about practical knowledge is being earned, it's not being read. Because practical knowledge will tell you reactions and growth differentials on different soils. Because experience on a loamy soil is quite different from experience on a sandy soil. Like I said, someone that is growing vegetable on a loamy soil will see it as it's perfect, it can do it very well. But the day it tries on a very loose soil, the person will say, this is difficult. Sustaining a plant from the early stage even to maturity will be extremely difficult if you're using a very loose soil. But those that understand the principles could sustain that same plant, and they'll actually get the good result out of it. Now, if you have to talk to people, if you talk to someone that has cultivated on a loamy soil and believe that he knows everything, and you take the person to a sandy soil or a very loose soil, you understand that the ball game is quite different. Most people don't even understand the principle of the kind of soil that is suitable for the kind of crop. Some persons believe any kind of crop can grow anywhere. Yes, you can do it if you understand the dynamics of what that particular crop needs. Like some person called some time ago, they bought onion seed, and they said, "We bought onion seed from you. We planted the onion seed, and the onion seed it was germinating. Suddenly, it started dying. Before you know it, the whole onions died. So when they asked somebody, the person said the seed is not good. That the seed is about to expire, and that's why when the seed grew, it started going down. What kind of conclusion is that? If a seed is not viable, it will not sprout. That's the truth. If a seed is not viable, it will not sprout. It's either yes or no. It's either the seed sprouts or the seed did not sprout. So now the question is this: what now happens to the onion? We realize the fact that the onions was cultivated on a thick loamy soil. Onions does not like that. If only they've asked questions about the onions, or they've even taken time to study what the onions is about, they will know that the onions will not do well in that loamy soil. Yes, at the early stage, it will help the plant to grow. But when the bulbs start forming, when there's too much moisture, it will be rotten and the plant will be dying. That's exactly what happened to that onions farm, and everything went down. Now, by the time the person came to complain, times like this, people always come violently. They are coming to fight. They are coming to tell you that, yes, what you sold to me is bad. The seed you sold to me is a fake seed. Is this one? When they came, yes, they came to complain. Yes, we want our money back. He said, no problem. If it's your money we want, no problem, we'll give you your money. But we need to let you know, or we need to see how you did it and the thing went down. And we asked questions. We asked for pictures. And we asked for videos. And we saw it. The place they planted in us was pounded. Anytime they water the place, water will log there before the water will get drained. So you can understand kind of thing that the soil that will hold water from morning till almost evening, and at the end of the day, it's going to hold water till almost midday. So you can rest assured that the place will moist, extremely moist till night. And at the night, dew will fall. The place remains moist till the following morning. And early in the morning the following day, they come and water it again. The cycle continues like that. They feel they're actually giving the plant what it needs. True, they are giving the plant water. But on the other hand, the water they're giving the plant, it's actually killing the plant because it is too much. Number two, the soil is not drained. Most of the time when you read some journals online about a particular crop, to those that even go online to even try and read, you see they write this crop, this seed, or this plant should be cultivated on a well-drained soil. There is a reason for a well-drained soil. Because the soil itself has some air space in them. When you put too much water in or the soil is not drained, the air space in the soil are being blocked by water. Definitely that as such, it doesn't make the plant to actually grow very well, because also the plant needs air in the ground. So with this now, if the air is not available for the plant will not be able to respire well, and the plant will start deteriorating. I'm only using some terms so that you can understand some basic understanding that could make you understand these things on time. What you need to put in place for your crop. Most persons don't even care about the particular crop they want to cultivate. And like I always say, ask questions. One beautiful thing about this thing is that SoloCard is about putting in place also, again, is this. We want to do it in such a way that we're going to have a direct line, such that you can actually call in. Even while the program is going on, we want to have it in such a way that we'll make the session a bit longer, and we want our customers to be able to call in and tell us what the challenges on their farm, what are they experiencing, what are the difficulties they feel they're having with a particular crop in a particular environment. The truth is this: the solution to that particular problem that has been wasting your millions might not be anything you need to buy. It's just a function of how you need to do, or how you need to prepare, or what you need to rearrange on your farm to give you that particular result. There was a particular farm we visited some time ago. The person keep complaining, and most of the time when we cultivate, this particular part of the field does not do well. This particular part of the field does well. What is the challenge? They said maybe some people said maybe there's problem in the soil, that the soil pH is not too good. Well, that could be another option. But the fact is that the soil pH of that land is actually adequate. But when we now visited the farm, we look at it. What could be the problem? We now realized, as little as it could be, the orientation of the farm is a challenge. because the down part is compounding water, and the top side drains the water into the bottom part. Because of the way they orientate the farm, we now told them this is not a major challenge. What you need to do is reorientate this farm, do this portion this way, do this portion this way, and see, do your next planting, and let's see how it goes. At first, the farm was like, he's a clinical, he has been into agriculture for a long period of time, that I can't tell him that is a big problem, or whatever. We said, fine. We are not trying to tell you we are the best. We are only trying to let you understand the fact that these are some of the practical things that we have experienced also. So if we have experienced something like this, then it might be applicable to your farm as well too. Let us give it a try. After much argument and much talk, he agreed. The farm was oriented, and they did their planting. But I tell you, the yield for that particular season was much more better than I've ever experienced on that farm. Now, because of the fact that he feels he's a professor, he has been in agriculture so many years before I was born, like he said, he looked at it that, why must I listen to this small boy? The truth is this, agriculture has gone beyond age. It's a function of experience. So don't say because you've been cultivating, you've been in agriculture before I was born. True, I'm just a small boy. You might be cultivating, you might be doing agriculture for 30 years before now. Thank God. But the dynamics of agriculture this day is even from the dynamics of agriculture the years past. The yield of agriculture this day is quite much more than the dynamics of agriculture in the year past. That you've been cultivating 30 years ago does not mean you should get the best result now. If you don't apply the basic principle that happens or that occur or that governs operation at this time. So I want you to understand something. It is quite easy, simple, and even cheap to ask questions from someone that have done this thing before. Other than you not asking question, wasting your time, wasting your resources, at the end of the day, get frustrated about a particular agricultural practice that you want to put in place, but you fail to ask questions. So many persons today believe they are professors, sorry to say, they know everything about agriculture, but still yet they're not getting it right. It is not magic. We've shared so many testimonies about different farms that we visited, that we share ideas together. Most of the time, when we get to the field, if to the people that we visit their farms before, we always ask questions first. What have you done? What are you doing that is quite different from what you should do? That's some of the things we ask. Invariably, we are trying to let you understand the fact that we are not an island. We are not magicians. We are not God. We are only doing our best to make sure that these things go well. But we are paying attention to little details, little facts that most persons don't pay attention to. And that's what I want to tell you today. Whatever you want to do, ask questions. If you ask questions, a little explanation here, a little explanation there will actually give you facts, clue, basic knowledge to that particular thing you want to cultivate. I tell you, as Solocal Multiventures Limited, we are not just after you buying and buying and buying, but we are after you effectively using what you are buying, such that you will buy what you need, not just buy things and at the end of the day you don't need them. Thereby you are wasting your resources. Because if you are happy, we will be happy as Solocal Multiventures Limited. And I tell you, we are working on our platform every day just to make it better for farmers to reach us. And I tell you, from our next episode, we will be putting it online. Even before the program commences, we have a direct line that you can actually call us, reach out to us. You can ask us questions. The line will be open for you anytime you want to call in. You call in, you ask questions directly about what is happening in your farm. We'll be able to look for a way of providing solutions to that problem. Because at least there is nothing new about agriculture today. I tell you, nothing new. It's just the approach to it is the different thing. Nothing new. So from our own experience, we have several farmers that we share experience with as well too. We're not saying that we are the only one that we know. Anything we tell you is the original. No. We are telling you from experience, and we tell you likely things that might come across your way, even in your pursuit or in your process of doing this thing. So when we put the line open, you can always call in directly. You ask us questions, we will share ideas with you. And also at Solocal Multiventures Limited, we are also bringing something new to the platform. We have a section of Solocal Multiventures Limited that we've just set aside now that is designed just to reach out to farmers. And that's what we'll talk about, meet the agronomist. Now, the Meet the Agronomist program is just for you to come around every time. You want to come around majorly on Tuesdays. Come around, let's hear from you. What is the problem on your farm? If you feel you can come around to us, come. Come with pictures of your farm, come with videos of what's happening in your farm. Let us see. We can actually reason together, tell you what and what is likely could be the problem and the possible solutions that could actually eradicate that particular challenge in your field. And that's what we'll be doing. So every Tuesday, the office will be open for you to always come around, ask questions, come with pictures of your farm, whatever you think that is actually affecting your farm, come. Let us deliberate on it together. Let us tell you what we have from our own experience. Let us tell you what we have seen, what we've experienced, and how we're able to solve that particular problem. You can actually apply it to your own field too, and you will get the result. Because most of the time, like I said, we are not an island. When you come, the truth be told, that even the solution that you will need will be one thing, it will be something that we will discuss. And you realize the fact that the solution is what you need. You might even be the one to provide the solution yourself. We might not end up telling you anything. But when we ask you questions and tell you some guidelines and procedures of what you should have done, then you will see that you actually have the solution to the problem yourself, even before coming to us. And these are some of the things that we want to do. We want you to understand the fact that you can actually do it better than what we think we have done. But when we share ideas together, it becomes a better place for all of us. We get better results. And I tell you, agricultural practice will become a very noble practice. Like I said in one of our episodes, if everybody in Nigeria eats every day, why you, a farmer, and you are producing the food, why are you not a billionaire? Ask yourself that question. Have you thought about it before? If 1 million person in your neighborhood gives you 10 naira every day by buying your proceed, if 1 million person in your neighborhood is buying your proceed 10 naira every day, that is 10 million naira every day. So why are you not earning 10 million naira every day? The truth is this: you are not doing it right, and such you are not getting the adequate results. So at Solocard Multiventures Limited, we want you to understand the fact that you can actually get it right, you can actually do it well. I want to urge you today, ask questions. As from next week, like we said, the numbers will be thrown on the screen. Even from the beginning of the program, you can always call us in, ask us questions while the program is going on. We'll always pick your call, attend to you. And in the house, you can always, if you're around, you can always come around. Let us share ideas about what the problem is on your farm. Or you want to venture into agricultural practice, you don't know how to go about it, you can always come into the building at Solocard at Ogungba. Our address is displayed on the screen. The numbers are on the screen. You can always call. We'll direct you now to get to the building. Come, let us deliberate. We can actually guide you on how to go about the day-to-day activities, the principles, and how to do it in order to get the best results. Because we want you to get it right. Trust me. We don't want you to waste your money. Everything is actually expensive now. The fertilizer we are selling, NPK for instance, that we're selling in those days, how much? 11,000, 12,000, 13,000 as the case may be. At the moment, it's about 29,000, 30,000 in some areas. Look at the difference. So why will you spend that money on a bag of fertilizer and you end up wasting everything and you don't make money out of it? Like I said, agriculture is one of the investments that if you can do it well, when you put 2 naira in, your 2 naira should bring out 4 naira for you. But and that's why when they put 2 naira in, even 50 kobo, they don't get in return. It is quite simple, but most people don't follow the principle, and that's why they are wasting millions of naira every day. But at Solocard Multiventures Limited, we want you to know that you can actually do it right and not waste your money. So I tell you, I leave you with this one. Whatever you think you want to do, don't believe you know everything. Ask questions. And that's why every day we visit farms to even see things differently. We visit farms to even check what's happening, and we talk to people to see what they are doing differently in their own environment and why they are getting done. And let me surprise you. Even when we see good results out there, we go ahead and ask questions. How did you do it? How did you get these results? We want to ask questions too. We are also asking questions every day. How did you get this good result? It's a wonderful result. Let us know how you did it, so I can actually share it across to everybody. And that's one of the places of sharing it, is bringing it to this platform. I want to tell you, whatever you want to do this season, whatever you think you want to venture into, you can actually do it right to get the best result of it. And we will be here to guide you. Thank you very much once again. My name remains Mark Oluwafemi for Solocard TV. Till we see you next week again, you can do it right. Thank you.
bàbá Sídí ọ̀rẹ́ mi níbi táyé lajú dé yìí ló tún roko àrógbá kéèké.
wọ́n rò ó ti sú mi mo ti fi kó tó ẹ̀mẹ́ta lọ́dún
yìí. níbo ló ti wá ra kẹ́míkà tiẹ̀.
a ní lọ́dọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń to kẹ́míkà sí ẹ̀gbẹ́ títì ibẹ̀ mo rà.
ọmọ ṣe o àgbárí bíjà tuntun kí o tò.
kàṣà.
sórí o ti gbọ́n pa sólókàdì ń tiẹ̀. sólókàdì nìkan ní ta ojúlówó kẹ́míkà tó o bá dọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ kò sírú kẹ́míkà tó wá tó rí. kí ni jẹ́ èpò níwájú kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
ṣé lóòótọ́
ni.
ṣé lóòótọ́.
òótọ́ ni mo sọ fún ọ wo má yá lọ.
mo rí gbogbo rẹ.
kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
sólókàdì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ́míkà sólókàdì kẹ́míkà tó dáa ni.
sólókàdì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
dákun ọ̀rẹ́ mi níbo ni iléeṣẹ́ wọn wà bí ṣọ́ọ̀bù wọn níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ta tèmi náà ti lè ra.
amúnigun ògùnpá náà ni.
ògùnpá ń bẹ̀rù.
nọ́mbà 57.
nọ́mbà 57.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tọ́ ọ bá ti dé
amúnigun ògùnpá.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tọ́ ọ bá ti débẹ̀ ó ti rí ilé wọn báyìí wọ́n kàn wọ́ ọbẹ̀ lọ mú yìí tó wọ̀ ọ́.
ọ̀rẹ́ mi
wo àgbẹ̀ ti di rọrùn.
tèmi ti dá a lọ́dún yìí. ṣé ọ lọ ọ̀rẹ́.